What is going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back for a brand new episode of Chaos Head Noah. Last time on, Takumi has become the laughingstock of Shibuya, unfortunately, which is his worst possible nightmare as he cannot blend into the background anymore as he tries to go to school, but he is nothing but mocked over and over, and he has no one to back him up. Not even Remy, who still hasn't showed up to school in all of these days ever since the earthquake happened. So he decides to run away and try to go back to his base to hide out somewhere. Meanwhile, Sua and Ban try to figure out more about what's going on with these GE rates and such. And eventually they find out, consulting some graphs, that during the holidays are when they spike up in rate, which is not very natural. So they start to suspect that there is some type of conspiracy behind this, behind the GE rates somehow. Takayumi then gets beat up by a bunch of thugs, but somebody actually swoops in to save him. But before we get to that, we see a scene of Remy meeting Shogun in the hospital, saying some very interesting things of why don't you just kill Takayumi? Why does he need to be alive still? And that Shogun still needs him for something. What that something is, I don't know, but I could have a guess. But anyway, Takayumi is saved by a girl, Kozue, the shy girl that transferred over to his high school, that doesn't seem to speak using her mouth, but using her mind, in which she refers to herself as Kazupi instead, and she speaks in a more cute way. Uh, and she reveals her Discord to Takayumi, which is not really a sword. It's more of like a snowboard that you can hold, kind of in the middle. it is a big hunk of it's a sheet metal, pretty much. You cannot even call it a sword. And that she explains to Takayumi the reason why she got it was after she buried her hamster, and she wanted the will to kill something. That's when she got this sword, which is very interesting as Takayumi comes to an understanding that the reason why he cannot get his this sword is not because of anything in particular. It's because he isn't broken enough. He hasn't gone off the deep end yet, unlike these other girls that have this swords at all, which is a scary thought, which is a very, very scary thought, which means the reason why Shogun is presenting himself, I think, the reason why Shogun is displaying himself as a villain in Takayumi's story is so Takayumi can go off the deep end, become broken, and then gain this sword once and for all. For some reason, Takayumi is powerful, but he can't control his powers until he get this sword, and Shogun needs that for some reason, and he explained all this to Remy as well, which I'm very curious about, like, what is their relationship at all. But goddamn. But yeah, someone last episode commented of how to pronounce D-I. I've been calling it D-I sword. It's actually pronounced dis sword, which is going to take a while to get used to, so I'm not going to be perfect on it, folks. But I'm going to try my best to say dis sword instead of D-I sword. So it's going to be dis sword for now on. So hopefully you guys aren't bothered by that at all. But yeah, I'm just I don't know where the hell this is going. I don't know. I really don't know. So like Takayumi has to break even more in order to like gain this sword. Like I'm so curious about that, and like yeah, let's just get right into it. That was Ohara Kozue had fought before she came to Tokyo. But now, it was different. Now it had become something very important, something entirely irreplaceable to her. This sword. If I have it, then I won't be afraid. This sword will protect me. This sword is my heart, another me. It had been about 3 weeks ago when she had first begun to think so. Ever since she was a child, Kozue had the ability to hear the inner voices present in other people's heads. As to when she had first become aware of it, she could no longer remember. I must be crazy. I must be really sick. These thoughts pervaded her mind as she sought to understand. Even though she was very young at the time, Kozue knew that her power was something no one could know about. Thus, she concealed it from her parents. Her powers rendered her unable to make friends, forged a rift between her and her family, and made the people around her think she was merely a girl with ridiculous intuition, one that gave them the creeps. Even when she came to Shibuya, she had still been afraid to go to school. She did not want to meet anyone new, nor talk to anyone. She thought that they would just be creeped out by her no matter what she did. She did not go to school on the day she was first supposed to, nor the next day, nor even the day after, instead choosing to wander about Shibuya during the morning. There is no doubt that Kozue's parents had been notified by the school, as the staff must have noticed that Kozue had been absent without prior notice, and yet her parents had said nothing to her. It would be understandable for people to mistake her for a middle school student, but unlike the countryside where she had used to reside, there was no one around to rebuke her as such when she walked the streets on weekday mornings. It had been several days since she had first begun wandering around Shibuya. In that time, she had found a place to relax. The stairs within the local loft. It had become routine for her to sit there and stare off into space. This routine remained true on that day as well, and after spending nearly 4 hours there, evening broke, and she left off to return home. Raindrops fell from the dark gray sky. Kozue did not have an umbrella, and yet without looking up at the sky, nor once fretting about getting wet, she timidly stepped down into the rain. At that very moment, something entered her field of view. Whoa, the world is ending. A sign with that message written upon it, sodden by the rain. The handwriting had blurred. I feel like I've seen this guy in the background before, especially with that sign. The person holding the sign was a lone, lifeless, homeless man, sitting on the side of the road under the pouring rain. His head hung downward so that none could see his face. Perhaps he was dead. That person, seeing him as though it were a mirror image of herself sitting on the stairs, Kozue ceased her stride. Aw, what a cute little outfit. For just a moment, she hesitated. He was a stranger, a homeless man she had never seen before coming to Tokyo. Just the mere sight of him brought a feeling of revulsion. If I talk to him, what if something terrible happens to me? Such anxieties pervaded Kozue's mind. But what was far stronger than that anxiety was Kozue's strong urge to kill the man. Whoa. It was an all too sudden impulse, one that struck Kozue with the feeling that if she went through with it, she would be killing herself as well. And so, after hesitating for one moment longer, Kozue sent the man the voice of her heart. The man's shoulders twitched. He was not dead. Slowly he raised his head. His cloudy eyes, peeking out from between sodden bangs, looked up at Kozue.
Ah, 終わるよ.
Wow. Kazue's eyes widened slightly in surprise. Not at the fact that he had just confirmed the world was ending, but that the man had replied at all. She had not been expecting a reply. The person to whom she would send her inner voice to would rarely respond well. Instead, they would face immense confusion, write it off as an auditory illusion, or shudder in terror before walking away at a hurried pace. Even if she did succeed in communicating with them, it was difficult for the other party to send back a reply in an orderly manner. People's thoughts are far too chaotic and disorderly. And yet the man's expression did not change. He had simply answered Kozue's question with an incredibly short response. The heart Kozue felt through the man's voice was laden with a deep sadness. To her, it almost felt as if his heart was shedding tears.
君は剣を持っているね。
Who the fuck?
どうしてわかるの？
君のような子を他にも知っているから。
Children. Kozue raised her hands above her head and withdrew her sword where she stood. She thrust the end of the blade toward the man. Whew.
この剣が見えるの？
見えないよ。
じゃあどうしてわかるの？
おじさんが悪い人だからだよ。
A bad man.
すまない。
どうして謝るの？
おじさんのせいなんだ。
どうしておじさんのせいなの？
忠告しかできないから。動き出してしまったから。もうおじさんには止める術がないから。
じゃあおじさんを殺せばコズピーは悪くなくなるの？
その剣は君を殺す者にも守る者にもなる。
Huh.
思い出してごらん。空を見れば雲が、川を見れば流れが、そこにあったはず。それと同じこと。その剣はいつも君のそばにあった。自分自身の心を見てごらん。そこにあるのがその剣なんだよ。
でも殺したいって願ったらこれが手元にあったんだよ。この剣はコズピーとコズピーの周囲にあるあらゆるものを殺すためのものじゃないの？
負の感情は否定されるものじゃない。人が誰しも持つものだからね。特別じゃないんだ。どう向き合うかだよ。目をそらしてはいけない。自分を否定してはいけない。世界は共造。君の心の中にある性は同時にふとなりうるし。
What can be positive in your mind can simultaneously be negative. That's kind of like what we've seen with the delusions here and there. Sometimes we pick the green option, which we think is good. It is negative instead. But we choose red, which we think to be negative. It can be a good delusion instead.
その逆もまた可能。世界が終わるのか、生き続けるのか、それを選べるのは君たちだけなんだ。
What? In the end, Kozue had not killed the man. The urge had, for some reason or another, ceased to be as the man spoke to her. She did not expressly understand the meaning of the man's words, but Even still, she fought long and hard before eventually arriving at a single conclusion. This sword is me. If I look at it and don't deny it, it'll save me. And for that reason, Kozue fully cast her faith in her sword. Huh. I tilted my head having just listened to Kazupi's story. Yeah. So who the I'm a bad man. I've seen other children with that sword, but he can't see it directly. My first impressions. He was a part of the Noah project, but got kicked out. Which means the Noah project has something to do with these swords. Which is kind of counterintuitive to the project, or maybe it's more like a side effect of the Noah project. Maybe. And he got kicked out of it because he, I don't know, gained the conscious, I guess. And now he wants death and is warning others about how to use their sword. Maybe. I don't know. Like, that's the only only logical explanation I can think of right now. I've seen other children with swords, because I'm a bad man. Almost sounds like these, dis swords are like a military project, really. And that's something that is just gained naturally, I guess. Interesting. Ooh, interesting. Just adds more fucking questions as to what the fuck's going on. Who the hell was that man she kept talking about? The homeless guy carrying around a sign. Come to think of it, I felt like I'd seen him around a few times too. Was it the same guy? Yeah, I've seen that sign in the background. What I didn't get though was why some random bum knew so much about dis swords. Gotta stop myself. Or was I the odd one out? Maybe dis swords were actually huge in Japanese pop culture and I'd just been living under a rock or something. Fat chance. I glanced over at Kazupi. Her face was so calm and peaceful, it was hard to believe that she ever blurted out psycho things like wanting to kill people. She gently glided her fingers over the surface of her dis sword.
そういえば、あのおじさん、別れ際にこんなこと言ってたのら。君たちは特別な存在だ。
Special beings, huh?
中でも一番特別なのは、その目、誰の目を産み落とした少年。
Who birthed? Whose eyes are those eyes? Wait. No, wait. Who birthed? Whose eyes are those eyes? But no. The only reason that phrase became popular was because of the New Gen murders. That's right. So I'm great. Now I'm wondering about, because Takumi has like reality changing abilities. He could change reality without even like thinking about it, like without being conscious of it. Like the flower bed, for example. We know that for sure. So is Shogun really behind the... Who the fuck is the culprit of the New Gen murders? Like, god damn, it's like we're dealing with two like separate things. We're both dealing with like a secret society conspiracy to take over the world, and also a string of murders as well. And so far, these two things haven't been correlated at all to each other. Like, they haven't mentioned those murders at all during, like, all the, like, little scenes we've seen of, Nozumi. Right? At all. They've never mentioned the New Gen murders at all. Like, it's not a part of their plan, which is, it's just a side effect of it. So that means... is Takumi really the fucking one behind him? But, like... but why? Is it his... But what about the footage? What... dude, what the fuck's going on? It's like, God, it's like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, it feels like 3 different genres are crossing over. We got thriller with the conspiracy, we got mystery with the murder cases, and then we also have magical girl, pretty much. It's like all 3 genres are crossing over into this. It's like, how the fuck does all of this like correlate to one another? Like is this sword's like part of the Noah project? Is it like a side effect of it, or is the New Gen murders a side effect of the Noah project, or is the New Gen murders are simply just the red herring to get people like off the case of Noah to not notice anything's happening with the G rates and stuff? Like what the fuck's going on?
らしいんだって。
I didn't know what to say. So, okay, how many do we know have this swords? We know Aoi, we know Luis, Kazupi, Takumi, kind of. That's 4. Is there a 5th one I'm forgetting? I don't think so. So, wait. Luis, as a kid, went to an asylum. Takumi, as a kid, also got examined for psychological damage as well. 2 for 2. What if all these kids were experimented on for a project? Kind of soldier program, huh? Let's say this. This would tie in. To summon weapons and use them, but why? But why didn't they keep them, though? Why did they release them if they were trying to do that? If Nozumi was trying to do that? Because we did see... I remember seeing in one of the CGs when Takumi was talking about his backstory, a black-suited dude. So, like... why did they let him roam free? What the fuck's going on? What the hell?
西条くん、心当たりあるの？
Don't fuck at me front facing.
いや別に
Too spooky.
嘘ら、心は正直なんだよ。西条くんは今、ものすごく関係ありますって考えてる。
Oh, god damn it. This is exactly what I was talking about. It sucks trying to think when she's listening to every thought I have.
なんか怖い顔になってる。その目、誰の目って西条くんが最初に考えたの？
I bit my lip and stood up. My nosebleed had stopped, so I pulled out the tissue crammed into my nose. Kazubi tilted her head as she looked up at me.
どこへ？
I'm going home. Even though my sides were still killing me, I ignored the escalators and elevators. I took the stairs down to the first floor instead. It was much easier to dodge the crowds and make my way outside that way. Teary-eyed, Kazupi timidly followed behind me.
コズピー、何か怒らせるようなこと言ったかな？
I disregarded Kazupi's question. I was too focused on trying to sort out the thoughts in my head. That homeless guy she met, could he have been one of Shogun's comrades? What the hell was up with him mentioning whose eyes are those eyes? Who had he been talking about when he said the boy who birthed whose eyes are those eyes? Me? That couldn't be right. I wasn't even close to special. Being a hero just wasn't in my blood. I mean, I couldn't even get my hands on a damn this sword. I was just an average Joe, villager A, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Being special? No thanks, man. And why did I not have another O-front breakdown in my lifetime? So that begged the question, who was that boy? I considered the real culprit behind the New Gen cases, Shogun. No way Shogun was anything other than an old man, but his voice and body made him seem like a kid more than anything. Pretty much everything about him screamed how abnormal he was. How he was someone special. 2 of the 6 current gen new cases had whose eyes are those eyes appear at the scene of the crime in some capacity. I use that phrase quite a bit, but only ever in my own head. They barely even meant anything, so what the hell were they doing in all those places? Was there an actual reason hidden there somewhere? One that would reveal why Shogun was so persistent in coming after me? Maybe that homeless guy had some clues I could work with. Imagine he was still somewhere in the city, carrying around his cryptic sign. Should look for him. So I look for him, then what? I paused for a moment, then shook my head in denial of what I'd been thinking. What good would it do to look for him? It was a lot more likely to just put me in harm's way. For all I knew, the guy was one of Shogun's minions, only there to lure me into some horrifying trap. So if I just cruised my way over to the guy, there was a strong chance it would just trigger another quest. I didn't know if I could handle that. I was always sick to death of all the pain and terror I'd been going through lately. And my suspicions didn't end with the homeless guy. I was even suspicious of Kozue. She didn't really have any reason to, and yet she was speaking to me with her inner voice. Why was that? Had she been under orders by Shogun and approached me, just like Yua? With her really unsettling stance on both attempted and actual murder, it was very possible she was an accomplice in Nujun. After all the mayhem at Old Front, Remy had just stopped and vanished, and I hadn't heard from her a word from her since. Then Eloise had been hospitalized after her attempted suicide. Nanami was fine, but the 2 people on my side had still completely disappeared on me. Was there any guaranteed Remy would ever come back? For starters, was she really just taking time off from school? Granted, I only knew that because Kozue had told me, and I had no way of knowing if she was lying or not. All my hair stood up on end, hollering at me that something was off. In the end, me and my world were all too empty, hollow. There was nothing left to believe in, nothing that didn't seem like a lie.
それは被害妄想なのら。
A good reason! Kozue was standing right behind me. Her inner voice was as carefree as always. Her brutal-looking this sword sat comfortably in both her hands, and she carried it around. Then she cast an upward glance at me. I averted my eyes. Are you my ally or my enemy? Which is it? Did you come here to kill me?
コズピーはただ。
Just what? Kozue suddenly yelped in excitement. Startled, my head jolted upward only to realize it wasn't me she was looking at, nor the person she was waving to. Senna? Senna-chan? Wait a second. Tracing the end of Kazupi's gaze, sure enough.
小杖か。
Oh shit. It was Aoi Senna with this sword to her shoulder. As she walked towards us, her expression made it clear that her mood was just as sour as ever. It reflexively tensed up. What's Senna doing here? Is it just another coincidence? Or is it a calculated trap? Do these 2 know each other? If they did Kozue call her here? Are the 2 of them here to kill me?
だからそれは被害妄想だよ。
Yeah, but what's safe to believe in? Although it is true that no matter how many times I've run into Senna, she'd never try to attack me. But that doesn't mean she's my ally. Besides, she's scary as hell.
セナさんは怖くないよ。
ちょ
Kozue could really go without the commentary.
怖い？何のことだ？
Oh boy. As I figured, Senna couldn't hear Kazupi's inner voice too.
なんでもないです。
Kozue simply bathed in delight as I bumbled about. Facing the ground, she gently grasped the helm of Senna's clothes and smiled bashfully. The 2 were such an amusing combination. Felt stupid for getting nervous. What the hell? They're just, oh my god. There's, here you go. There's just like sisters. One, the strong and firm older sister. The other, the younger, more timid sister who loves her sibling more than anything. And on top of that, both of them have small breasts, so mega freaking GJ there, nature. Wait, shit, chill out. What if Kozue reads my mind again? If I'm not careful, I could easily die here. How are these two related anyway? Are they classmates? Maybe not, since they're in different grades and all. Is there something connecting the sorts of people who have swords? Are the two of them Shogun's underlings? I put myself in the cat stance in case I had to escape at a moment's notice. What that specifically entailed was standing with my heels raised off the ground that would allow me to speed away with a cat if the need arose. Maybe. I don't know. I'd seen it in some manga forever ago.
セナさんはね、コズピーが東京に来てから最初のお友達なのら。ね。
Rather than answering, Senna merely glared at me. I figured she was about to lunge at me with that sword of hers, but that never happened. Calling her scary hadn't seemed to have pissed her off to that extent, at least.
小杖どうしてこいつと
たくみちゃんはクラスメートです。
Takumi-san?
ほいでね、たくみちゃんはコズピーの剣が見えるんだよ。
それは知っているこいつもギガロマニアックス
Gigawa what now?
ギガロマニアックス。理想度が見える人のこと。
Oh,
たくみちゃんもそうだよ。
so that's the term for it. A Gigalomaniac? Who in the world decided to name it that? Give it as a name at all, then maybe these powers aren't all that uncommon?
あは、セナさんはガルガリ君買いに行くとこなんですね。
それは
From the sounds of it, Kazupi had read Senna's mind. Speaking of, I'd seen Senna eating crunchy coons in the past. With winter right around the corner, I wasn't sure why she'd be eating popsicles of all things. Guess she just really liked them.
ほいじゃあ、みんなで一緒に行きましょう。
Announcing that with her inner voice, Kazupi clung to Senna and pulled her along.
たくみちゃんもはーやく。
いや僕は
I tried to turn her down so I could get out of there already, but... Kazupi started tearing up almost immediately. Her teary eyes looked up at me as she silently pleaded with me, "Don't give me the puppy dog eyes, damn it!" On top of that, Senna was glaring at me like she was ready to rip my throat out with her teeth at any moment, Rick Grimes style.
ついてこい
Okay.
お前にもおごってやる
It looked like Kazupi had scored a critical hit on Senna with her teary assault. Urging me to follow, I reluctantly trailed behind her, heading towards the convenience store right behind the police station. Everybody gets ice cream! After buying each of us a crunchy coon, we sat near the handrails in front of the police station, nibbling away at them. While Kazupi looked delighted as could be, Senna's air of indifference remained the same. I was stressing out. The police were right there in the station in front of us. And yet, despite that, they paid no mind to the fact that two people with me were in utter violation of the swords and firearms control wall. The police were supposed to police people. The girls were right in their line of sight, but they didn't even try to arrest them. In fact, they didn't even care enough to slap us with a warning.
食べないの？
Now that Kazupi pointed it out, I just went screw it and started eating my crunchy coon. Though it was bothering me how people were staring. Also, I don't know why, but just seeing this blue popsicle is like the damn sea salt ice cream from Kingdom Hearts. Though, I suppose that was only fair. Senna and Kazupi were cute as hell, and the very idea that two small-chested sisters like them were hanging out with an otaku freak like me, just sitting and eating crunchy coons together out in the cold, well, it was all pretty absurd. Maybe I was overthinking it. I couldn't block out the snickering in my ears. Was I just hearing things? Was it another arbitrary illusion? Or was it just Kazupi laughing? I didn't want to stand out. I didn't want to be looked at. I was afraid of people gazing at me. Probably should have worn a hat. Seriously, I really wanted to get out of here the second. I continued hurtling into my crunchy goose so I could leave already, and every bite left my body feeling even colder. This is going to give me diarrhea real bad later. How are those two not freezing?
で、小杖。なぜこいつと一緒なんだ？
こいつじゃなくてたくみさんですよ。たくみさんが悪い人にいじめられてて倒れてたのら、だからコズピーが解放してあげたの。
So, she'd been the one who looked after me?
ディソードを使ったのか？
殺したかったとかバキって。
Kazupi was attempting to gesture wildly in an attempt to explain how things went down. But since her left hand was busy holding her colossal this sword, she was just waving the other around all sporadically. Which, of course, was the same hand that held her crunchy gun. She'd only taken a single bite of her crunchy cube before launching it into the air with a perfect arc. The popsicle soared through the sky before eventually landing smack dab in the middle of the road where it sprouted to pieces. Don't cry. Please don't cry. Kazupi was on the verge of tears as she stared at what remained of the popsicle.
うかつな真似は避けろと言っただろう。
ごめんなさい。もったいないないお化けが出ちゃう。
God damn it, why you gotta be so fucking cute? God damn it, man.
アイスのことじゃない。ディソードのことだ。
Shana held out her half-eaten Crunchy-kun Kazupi, seemingly giving up what she had left. Still a bit teary-eyed, Kazupi smiled as she accepted the popsicle with a bow of her head. Karumi's surprised. I guess even Senna had her moments.
でも悪い人には罰ゲームをするのが当たり前だよ。
Speaking of those assholes, who exactly turned them to mincemeat? Kazupi or me?
たくみさん、たくみさん。セナさんはね、すごーく何でも知ってるんだよ。理想度っていう名前もセナさんに教えてもらったのら。
Wow.
あとリアルブータ。あれれ、ブッダ
リアルブート。
Real boot.
そうそう。
The hell did that mean? Never heard of that before. That was just cryptic as the giggle whatever thing from earlier.
リアルブートしてない件は誰にも見えなかったはずなのにね。セナさんにだけ見えてたの。
Real booted?
理想度が見える人に会ったのセナさんが初めてだったんだ。その時はおひゃーって思ってなんで見えるんですかって聞いちゃった。ギガロマニアックスだからなんだって。
ギガロマニアックスって何なの？
A totally insane fucking person.
さっき言ったのら。剣が見える人だよ。
A bit more detail here, like how does that work?
ディラックの海に干渉できる力を持つもの。
Diraxi? Diraxi? The fuck is the Diraxi? A concept in quantum mechanics? Oh boy, here we fucking go. It's always gotta go back to fucking quantum mechanics with these visual novels, man. It's always that or philosophy. Okay, a concept in quantum mechanics defined by Paul Dirac. An unobservable primordial soup of all elementary particles that is said to be uniformly distributed throughout the world. Appears in the wave equation, Dirac equation of the whole theory, which ties together both quantum theory and the theory of relativity. Dirac defines the vacuum as a state in which negatively charged elementary particles are so tightly packed together no more can be created. This is the Diraxi. Alright. Quantum mechanics, huh?
それがギガロマニアックスだ。
Rather than Kazupi, it was Senna who had answered what was on my mind.
ディラックの海。
Senna shot me a scornful glance as I tilted my head in puzzlement. The hell was that look for? Sure, I may look like an idiot, but I'm pretty damn smart when it comes down to it, you know? I was pretty sure the direct sea was a concept ruling to quantum mechanics.
負のエネルギーでいっぱいに満たされた観測不能の境界名とかだっけ。
大雑把に言えばそんなようなものだ。そしてそこに干渉するための端末がディソード。ディラックの海に突っ込んだパイプの先端と考えればいい。ディラックの海とつながっているからディソードも負の物質で構成されている。無限に崩壊している存在なんだ。
Okay, so negative matter, aka antimatter, right? Which is, yes, impossible to observe each and every. No, yeah.
だから普段は普通の人間には触れることも見ることもできない妄想のようなものでしかない。このディソードこそあらゆるリアルブートのためのショートカット的役割を果たす。ディソードとディラックの海とのチャネルを大きくすることでディラック方程式の空港理論によって追生成が起き粒子と反粒子を作り出せる。
Oh boy, here we fucking Here's the part of the visual novel where it explains a sci-fi concept to you. It's always gotta happen. Always gotta happen. Smallest unit of matter. Okay, elementary part. I think I've heard of the elementary particle before. Paraproduction, I haven't. Phenomenon where both particles and antiparticles are generated upon the collision of a large amount of energy with a nucleus or something similar. In Dirac's Hole theory, this is when the vacuum collapses. Conversely, the collision of a particle and antiparticle results in annihilation of both particles, which is like, isn't that what they did with the Large Hadron Collider, which was, take two super fast particles and like smash them together in order to get things and stuff? Hole theory. The Dirac equation discovered by Paul Dirac led to the baffling conclusion that electrons containing negative energy do in fact exist. In order to explain this, the whole theory was founded, a theory which served to reveal the existence of the Dirac sea. Dirac sea is impossible to observe as a space consisting of matter infinitely collapsing into itself is not visible to the human eye. However, when a large amount of energy is applied to the boundary of that space, the vacuum interface, the vacuum temporarily collapses, turning those negative electrons positive, and those electrons then pierce through the boundary. By observing the positive energy, one can prove the existence of the Dirac sea. Okay, so going back to particles, going back to, speaking of the Large Hadron Collider, the whole fucking main villain of Steins Gate was CERN. So,
この粒子がギガロマニアックスが生み出す妄想、世界にとってのエラー。
Okay.
そのエラーを現実とするには作り出した粒子を他人のデッドスポットに送り込めばいい。粒子は即座に電気信号に変換され周囲の人間に共通の認識、現実として成立する。
Okay.
逆に消したいときは粒子を送り込んだデッドスポットに今度は反粒子を送り込み追消滅してやればいい。
Right. I remembered Senna mentioning that before.
世界の仕組みは3つの数字で全て説明できる。0と1、そしてマイナス1。
Yeah, so positive, anti,
ディ
negative.
ソードはそのマイナス1を生み出すためのショートカットになる。
This was all giving me a headache.
周囲の人間に共通の認識となると妄想が現実になるってどういうこと？
例えばお前が今手にしているガルガリ君、お前にはどう見える？
どうって 水色をしたアイス。
その水色のアイスは本当に現実だと証明できるか？
I mean, what else would it be? It was a Crunchy-kun. Anyone with eyes could see that, and anyone with a mouth could feel how cold it was with every bite. I would think that'd be a pretty obvious cancer.
人は目で見たものを脳が認識して初めてそれが水色のアイスと理解できる。でも脳が本人の意識しないままに嘘をついている可能性だってあるんだぞ。脳が生み出した自分一人だけがそう思い込んでいる妄想かもしれないんだ。
じゃあどうやって現実だって証明するの？
他の人もお前の持っているものが水色のアイスであると観測すれば、それは2人以上の人間の共通の認識となる。
Yeah?
お前一人だけの妄想じゃなくなるんだ。妄想を現実にするときにはそれを逆説的に捉えればいい。
To break it down, then, a person's solitary delusion could become reality by forcefully showing it to somebody. This could be done by using particles created by this sword to attain mutual recognition, or something along those lines. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. So I'm thinking back to the flower bed that Takumi spawned, like, without even thinking of it. The reason why he is so powerful was because he was able to do that without this sword. He was able to, like, create that unconsciously and make everybody realize it in, like, half a second before we hit the fucking ground. That's what makes him so powerful, is because he's able to do that so quickly to force the world to conform to his reality, actually, in that sense. Right? With this swords, I guess if you kill somebody, other people will recognize that that person is dead, even though the way you did it wasn't perceived by other people. I guess that's what we're saying here. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're saying here. So, like, if you kill somebody with this sword, nobody will see the sword, but everyone will acknowledge the person you killed with it. I think that's what we're getting at here. Then, did I have that power too?
コズピさっぱり。とにかくこの剣は普通の人には見えないの。
Kazupi returned Senna's Crunchy-kun, then trotted back towards the road. Then, in front of all the people walking along the road, for some inexplicable reason, she suddenly began roaring around her this sword wildly. I shielded my eyes. So those were true colors. In the end, she was nothing more than a homicidal maniac. Any second that the world would become a sea of blood. Anyone crossing past her that colossal blade would have had their body torn to pieces. If a police station right in front of us, they'd catch her in the act. It would be an open and shut case.
たくみさん、そんなことにはなってないよ。
Why was it so quiet? Whole crowd had just gotten mowed down with her sword in broad daylight, right here in the heart of Shibuya. Yet there hadn't been a single scream. The cops hadn't even intervened. So I uncovered my eyes. Nothing had happened. Nothing at all. Kazupi, looking a tad embarrassed, was still brandishing her colossal sword. You wouldn't think the sword would have struck anyone nearby, or maybe some wailing, or even the ground, but no, not a thing was damaged. If anything, the sword was passing right through everything, as if everything else was an illusion. Wait a second. Actually, I had that backward. It was a sword that lacked substance. Yeah. People walking around us weren't bothered in the slightest. They couldn't see the sword.
ピンポンピンポン。イソードは妄想の剣なのだ。
Elise had said something along those lines, but the swords could only be seen by those who possessed the power. Does that mean Ban fucking has the power to use a disc sword? I just realized that. Son of a bitch! It's not that the swords are fucking real, it's that Ban could use them. He just doesn't know it yet. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh boy, that just added another wrinkle to this. Standing next to me, Senna let out an exhausted sigh before taking another bite of her crunchy coon.
あのディソードは今は小杖の作ったエラーでしかない。
I guess I just never thought of it that way. But no. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess it's just the idea of Ban having the ability to use this sword was just out of my head completely. I'm like, how the hell is she able to use it for real now? No. The easier answer is that he can use it. He's able to fucking see it.
周囲共通認識はまだ成立していない。
リアルブートしたらみんなに見えるようになるのです。
Oh. Okay, never mind. Real, fucking, never mind then. Fuck me, I guess. Real, okay. Real booting. Okay, so, yeah. No, yes. No, I was right, because it was recorded. That's why. That's why I was so convinced it wasn't, Ban doesn't have the power, is because it was recorded. Not because it was just his perspective. It was recorded. That's right. Fucking duh. Alright. Forgive me. Don't even mind me. Alright, I'm just over in my fucking corner. That would mean sending particles into the dead spots of surrounding observers, yeah? No, they knew what the hell a dead spot even was. The corners of the eyes and stuff.
ズシャーってしたり、ドガーってできるようにもなるよ。
Can you please explain with anything other than sound effects? Still, fingering up the picture. Swishy swash was probably for cutting, and smashy crash was for hitting. What was this girl going around cutting and hitting? Did Kazupi seriously do such horrifying stuff like that? And what about me? Do I have the power to do that too? No, I wasn't special. I wasn't a Gigalomaniac. In the end, I'd even be able to obtain this sword.
剣は見えたよね。だからそのうち匠さんも持てるの。
I'm telling you, it's no good. Even back over to old friends, it just didn't work. Sure, I did see a sword there, but I had zero clue how to actually grab it.
どうやって手に入れるかっていうと。
Kazupi peered at Senna as if to urge her to do something. Senna let out a sigh.
バイオリズムの上昇によって中脳変影系ニューロンのドーパミンが過剰分泌された時、ディソードは現れる。それは危機的な状況や興奮、悲しみ、憎しみ、笑いなど人それぞれだ。
So basically, it just awakens you once you experience a high enough emotion and, excretes dopamine, I guess.
ドーパミン分泌量が多ければそれだけ観測しやすくなる。
Yeah, okay, so higher, your emotional breakdown, man. Which, yeah, I guess the higher emotional breakdown, and that applies more to, well, mentally ill people, so.
匠さん、そういうことなのら。
It was just absurd how wide Senna's knowledge was. She might very well be an outright genius. I mean, with explanations this detailed, do you think she majored in Gigalomaniacology? That was even a thing. For starters, I couldn't imagine there being any other girl in all of Japan who could spout theories and jargon off the top of her head to this degree. Where on God's green earth had she studied literally any of that? What was with all the mysterious characters accumulating around me? I was dying for an answer. Thinking about it all just wore me out. Sucked ass, only half understanding what was going on. You know what? I get it, man. I get that, dude. But I didn't have the strength to look into it myself, because none of these people were normal in the slightest. Grappling with those feelings of bitterness, I took one last bite of my following crunchy coon.
Huh? 当たりだ。
It said when on what was visible of the stick. Kazupi came back and peered into my hand.
匠さん、すっごいね。
大した運だな。
セナさん、自分も当たりが出て欲しかったって羨ましがってるのら。
そんなことは思っていない。
I doubted Kazubi could be so easily fooled here, given her ability to read everything on someone's mind.
セナさんはいつも当たりが出ないかなとワクワクしながらガルガリ君を食べてるのら。当たりを引いたのはどれくらい
1割3分の何
Damn. She really had this stuff down to a science. Did she calculate all of that every time she ate one? Finishing Crunchy Kun as well, she gave the leftover stick a glare, only to let out a quiet snort. She must have lost, or at least her face made it look like that. Ugh. Oh boy. Oh boy, here we go.
よかったらどうぞ。
Oh? Actually doing something considerate? My god, Takumi, you are growing as a person. I timidly head out my winning stick.
他人に施しを受けるつもりはない。私は自分の可能性を試しているだけだ。
Damn. Should I go with a bad one? I can't remember what delusions I chose last time. I think I went good, then bad. Or was it bad, then good? No, it was bad. Yeah, it was bad, then good last time. Did I choose a good delusion last time? I can't fucking remember. Should I go for it? That's the thing with these delusions. Should I go for it or not? I don't know.
でも本心では欲しいって言ってるね。
Ah, fuck it.
あげますよ。僕アイスはあんまり食べないし。
Let's see what happens. Senna pursed her lips, and then she nervously accepted the popsicle.
ありがとう。
I was lost for words, astonished. I would have never imagined that I'd ever get to hear Senna thank me. But quite unaware of my surprise, Senna grinned instead of me.
お前優しいな。
Muttered those few words quietly, then really looked away. Was it just me, or had she been blushing a little bit just now? Well, she given me an honest thank you, which was enough to make me reevaluate her a little bit. I really truly just thought that she was scary and nothing else, but she actually had a cute side to her.
セナさんは今ので。
Kazubi spun around in place, peered happily at Senna's face, and then at mine.
たくみさんのこと好きになっちゃったのら。
Oh boy.
小杖、何をバカな。
顔がプップーってなってるの。
Pushy crushy.
うるさい。
Oh, did she have any idea what she just said? The mother of all Tsundere's blue-eyed Jun's signature catchphrase started to grin out of sheer greed and set his finger shot in front of my face.
お前もニヤニヤしてるんじゃない。
I had never seen Senna act so dourly agitated before, starting to feel a bit mischievous, so I decided to test her.
ガルガリ君は好きですか？
悪いか。
どの辺が？
美味しいだろ。
それだけ。
あと可愛い。
While she was still sullen, Senna then said something that was incomprehensible to me.
かわいい。
Had she just gendered a popsicle? And also, how could popsicles be cute, or even uncute?
アイスがじゃないから。ガルガリ君は可愛いんだ。
Crunchy Kun himself? Oh, she was talking about the mascot. Cute?
あのイガグリ頭が最高だ。抱きしめて。頬ずりしたくなる。
The expression on Senna's face as she spoke reminded me of a maiden in love. Well, different stories for different folks, I guess.
それよりお前。
たくみさんですよ。
たくみちゃんなのか。
違う。シャンは つけなくても。
名前は
I had a feeling I had already told her my name before. She's probably just forgotten it.
西条匠です。
だったら西条。もうこれ以上エラーを作るのはやめておけ。
は？
なんで？剣は自分の心なのら否定しちゃダメ。コズピーはこの剣のおかげで助かったよ。
Saved? What happened to Kazupi's past? This question tied in with her wish too, the one where she said she wanted to kill.
妄想を現実にする行為にはリスクがつきまとう。粒子とともに追生成される反粒子はディソードにストックされていくんだ。反粒子は数学的に言えば過去へ向かうものだから。ストックすればするほどギガロマニアックスには現在の状態とのズレが発生し、やがてその矛盾により存在としての自己崩壊へ至る。
In Japanese, please.
小杖もあまりディソードを出すのはやめるんだ。普通に生活していきたいなら私の忠告を聞け。これはお前たちの命に関わる話だ。
It didn't look like Senna was joking. Again, she wasn't the type to joke anyway.
ましてや西条、お前はディソードなしでリアルブートした。本来ならそんなことできるはずがないんだ。
Yeah?
リラックの海にはディソードを通してしか干渉できないんだから。お前は普通じゃない。奴らに目をつけられてもおかしくない。
奴らって。
ギガロマニアックスの力を悪用しようとしている連中がいる。
それって将軍？
知らない。誰だそれ。
Kazupi, did Senna just lie?
ついてないよ。
西条、将軍とは誰だ。
The sheer chill in her voice sent shivers down my spine. Naturally, I couldn't look her in the eye. She grabbed me by the chest, making it hard to breathe. Why did she have to be so violent? What had I even done wrong?
そいつは40代ぐらいの男か。
Maybe?
違うよ。小さなじいさんだよ。
Senna immediately let go of me.
そいつもギガロマニアックスなのか。
わからない。
That's a great question.
でもニュージェネの真犯人だよ。
真犯人だと。
Senna placed her finger in her chin and began to ponder something while remaining completely still. The air felt volatile. I was hit with a strange feeling of anxiety. Senna knew something. But what the hell did she know? Who were these people that were trying to abuse the power of Gigalomaniacs?
あ、そうだそうだ。3人で記念撮影しましょう。ほらあれ。
Suddenly, Kozue pointed to something that she spoke enthusiastically. She was pointing at the arcade next to the police station. When it came to taking chronometer photos, this was where it inevitably happened. First time we actually see Takumi, actually. I've seen photos of him from, like, the anime, most likely, just here and there every so often. But this is actually the first time we actually see him in the visual novel.
たくみちゃん、ほら、真ん中。
いや、僕は。
God damn it, he is me. He has purple hair. God damn it, he is me for real. Fuck!
セナさん、横見てたらダメです。
私はこういうのは。
コズピーだって初めてなのだ。時々。
Without once consoling us, Kozue followed the instructions on the screen and pushed button after button. Before Sen and I could get ready, mentally and physically, a voice came from the screen.
はい、ポーズ。パシャッ。
In the picture we had taken, neither the this swords were visible. Well, so once you real boot it, it's able to be
また明日なのら。
goodbye, Kazubi. But anyway, it's so yeah, once you okay. So okay. Alright, now I get it. Like you're able to use it, but in order to like actually use it, you have to real boot it in order to make it more visible to everybody else, which is how Senna is able to attack the big guys with the, you know, electromagnetic bags or whatever the fuck. Okay. Okay, alright, I get it now. I get it somewhat. I get it somewhat, but yeah. With a small wave and smile, Kazupi disappeared in the direction of the station ticket gates. Senna and I watched her go. I would have preferred not to be one with Senna, but it seemed like she wasn't in the leaving Shibuya mood yet. Maybe she was planning to start wandering around the area like she normally did. I wanted to head back home as soon as possible, but there was one thing I had to ask the resident Gigalomaniac Brainiac before I did. That is a hell of a mouthful. Even when I tried talking to her, the stern expression remained on her face. It was a lot better when Kazupi was here, but man, would it kill her to be a little more approachable? As soon as she heard me, so all my heart might have been beating on my chest, I asked my question anyway.
コズピーの心の声もギガロマニアックスの能力なの。
I didn't expect her to answer me. Expected her to just hit me with a condescending heh and just leave it at that. Senna glanced at me once and shifted her eyes towards the Jumbotron resting above the scramble crossing.
心の声はいわば妄想だ。
So to speak, she replied.
梢はそれを他人のデッドスポットに送り込んでいるに過ぎない。仕組みはさっき説明したものと何も変わらない。
Oh. Okay, I get, yeah. Kind of like with the flower bed, he, you know, Takumi thought about it, then became reality instantly. With Kozue, she's able to send her thoughts to the dead spots of other people, but it's way easier to do since it's just thoughts.
送り込んだ粒子を映像ではなく音声に変換しているんだ。電話と同じだな。
Okay.
そして梢から心の声という妄想を送り込まれたことで、お前と梢の間で周囲共通認識が成立したんだ。テレパシーで会話しているように思えるが、全然違う。
だったら僕の心の声はどうしてコズピーに届いたの？
Man, this universe is all fucked up. I mean, for God's sake, even time travel exists in here with fucking world lines as well. We can't forget about that. Now we have fucking delusion. Man, the quantum mechanics in this universe are fucked up. I didn't send any delusions to Kazubi's dead spots. You know what? Since all these games are connected, like they share a world, it really goes to show you that the fucking quantum mechanics in this universe are all fucked up, man. It really is. Like, thinking back to Steins Gate, like, especially Steins Gate 0, like, shit, man. Fuck, it's all fucked up. Anyway. Really puts it into perspective. I didn't send any delusions to Kazupi's dead spots. So if what Senna was saying was true, it should have only been a one-way conversation starring Kazupi. And yet despite that, we had a conversation with just our own voices. Several, even.
ギガロマニアックスは他人の妄想を見ることができる。梢は特にその能力が高い。
Okay.
他人が垂れ流す妄想をほぼ強制的に見せられていると言ってもいい。
See delusions? Such a thing possible? Definitely couldn't do that. And if I couldn't, then I probably wasn't actually a Gigalomaniac. Suddenly, Senna walked farther away from me, her gaze shifting from the Jumbotron to the crowds of people walking through the scramble crossing.
ギガロマニアックスとなった者は 誰だろうと一度は壊れているんだよ。
Yeah.
壊れたって何が？
心がだ。梢は東京に来る前、奴らに追い詰められて心を壊した。
Hunted down by them? And so Sana began to tell me about what Kazuki experienced before she transferred schools. She began by saying that she had seen it in an image, one that she witnessed back when she first met Kazuki. Okay. Them, huh? Ever since she was a little girl, Kozue had possessed the peculiar ability to view the minds of others. Despite this affliction, Kozue managed to live a somewhat peaceful life by approaching her power in her own way, hiding it from others. Her change had begun with mirrors. Upon entering high school, Kozue began to see her reflection in mirrors more and more frequently throughout her daily life. At first, she believed it was only coincidence. It would only occur about twice a day. But as time went by, the frequency gradually increased. Kazuki would encounter people holding mirrors more than 10 times in a single day. That's pretty freaky. None of these encounters were particularly suspect, just people passing her by in the street holding a mirror or a classmate fixing her makeup in the bathroom. However, regardless of whether these occurrences were mere coincidence or indeed intentional, Kazuki would almost always see her own reflection in the mirrors. Eventually, all those who held the mirrors began to make noises akin to suppressed laughter. In their minds, they called out to Kozue with the words, "Who are you?" In the classroom, on campus, en route to school, while shopping, everywhere Kozue went, these people would appear. It was not a specific person perpetrating it. It was a different person every time. But in Kazui's eyes, anyone who possessed a mirror began to look suspicious. Anyone who would suppress their laughter around her began to look suspicious. Before long, even those without mirrors began to look suspicious, and Kozue began to face hallucinations in which they would all call out to her with, "Who are you?" She became nearly neurotic, and the voices present in the back of her head refused to leave. One day, Kozue mumbled something to herself in the mirror.
お前は誰？
Upon saying those words, Kozue felt an immense sense of fear, one that told her she truly did not know the answer. A girl with the same face of hers addressed her from the other side of the mirror.
お前は誰？
Ever since that day, Kozue could no longer speak, and she was unable to look at herself in the mirror. Damn. Even still, the question of "Who are you?" would continue to assault her. She did not even know whose voice it was inside her head anymore. And due to another facet of her peculiar ability, much akin to a broken fax machine, Kozue would receive the voices of other people indiscriminately, regardless of if she desired to or not. She herself had no say in the matter. And thus Kazui's mind was torn to shreds. One day in her second year of high school, Kozue was cleaning the classroom at the end of the day. As she tidied up, the three female classmates of hers, all with mirrors in hand, were whispering something among themselves. Then she took a baseball bat, broke all of the windows, and cracked one of their skulls open. Different game. Mirrors suppressed laughter. Then came the question, "Who are you?" Had it truly been the inner voice of one of her three classmates, or had it been just a hallucination on Kazui's part? It did not matter. The reflection in the mirror found its way to Kazui's eyes, both of which were trembling in fear. For a moment, Kazui's vision blurred. Had it been intentional or coincidence? It did not matter. At that very moment, Kazui's mind, after facing endless strain for well over a year, finally broke. The event accompanied by the sound of glass shattering. Wait, what? Upon realizing this, Kozue shrieked, screamed from the deepest depths of her lungs. Out of the corner of her eye, Kozue saw this sword and took hold of it for the very first time. Really? She then proceeded to attack her three classmates. The hands of the three, each of which holding a mirror, were then severed by the wheel-booted this sword in less than an instant. Fuck. A lot more violent than Lana's outbursts, I'll tell you that for sure, but, you know. Also, what is with these visual novels that keep playing with mentally ill girls, man? What the hell's up with that, huh? I guess I just have a type. Anyway. According to the minimum attendance chart, I didn't have to go to school today, but despite that, I was heading there anyway for one reason, and one reason only. To see Remy. I had no doubt that the DQNs in class would make fun of me just like they always did. It would definitely suck, but if it meant I could see Remy, I couldn't do it. As I passed through the school gate, I thought back to yesterday. When we parted, Senna had made it a point to say something.
お前が望むと望まないとに関わらず、もしこれ以上踏み込んでくるようなら、負を正にするぐらいの強い意識を持つんだな。中途半端な気持ちじゃ、妄想に食われるだけだぞ。
Yeah, that's true. I didn't want to get involved in anything that sounded dangerous, so I had to not to ask anything else. Besides, I still didn't know how far I have to go to get my hands on this sword. I was no hero, just a useless piece of shit that couldn't even protect his own sister. Yeah, this is the thing of, this isn't exactly getting positive from negative, Takumi. This ain't the greatest mindset, you know? But it was also possible that Shogun could show up again. He seemed to be playing with me like it was some kind of game. After all, maybe he'd feel like sending me another quest soon. Just the thought alone terrified me. I tried to grasp this sword, but even that was just to protect myself from him. Without that sword, how could I ever hope to escape his evil clutches? Maybe if Remy was by my side like she said she would be, but she'd been absent from school lately, which worried me. But if she'd been taken hostage just like Nanami, was there anyone out there who could help me? There would have to be someone with this sword. Louise couldn't because she was injured. Senna definitely wouldn't. And Kozue was a bit... No, she was fairly weird. My head looking squarely at the floor, I entered the classroom. Before taking my seat, I took a quick look around. I looked towards Remy's seat first. Empty. Was she taking today off too? Was it really that simple? Was she really just taking time off? Began to feel anxious. I wanted to see her. I wanted to see the cheerful face. Next, I looked over at Kazupi's desk. This goddamn front-facing portrait always gets me. She was in her seat, face down and huddled up. It was reminded of what Senna told me yesterday. It now made sense why Kazupi was always like that. Also, it's not just the front-facing face, but it's also the little hands she had, like the little fish she has. I don't know. It's just it's like kind of the pose where like your little brother comes in and like, my mom said it's my turn on the Xbox. That's what this pose reminds me of. Morning, Kozue. I didn't make eye contact, but I greeted her from my inner voice. The female DQNs were watching me, smirking. Cunts. Damn. It was no different than yesterday. Alright, calm down, Billy Butcher. They had all already labeled me as that otaku freak who said he was a psychic and made an ass of himself on TV. And that label wasn't going away anytime soon. The male DQNs didn't seem to have arrived yet. It was pretty common for them to skip first period, and that was fine by me. I took my seat, but when I did, that voice called my name.
Taku, ohayo?
Huh? Shocked, I looked up in a panic, and there she stood, right in front of my very eyes, Remy. With a hint of shyness, she gave me a short wave.
久しぶり。
Remy.
It wasn't an illusion. There was a different presence. She was breathing. Her hair was rustling. She was blinking. She was right there. She was right here. I felt a twinge in the back of my nose, a tightness squeezed with my chest. I felt like I was going to cry. I still hadn't sat down, I just frozen with my head hanging down. I was so happy. I come to see her again.
ちょっとタク、どうしたの？もしかして泣いてるの？
I frantically shook my head. If my DQN classmates found I was crying, they'd start making fun of me all over again. I told myself that I couldn't cry, but the tears kept flowing.
わかった。私に再会できて嬉しいんだ。そうでしょ。なんてね。ちょっと自意識過剰だったかな。
Even as she joked around so cheerfully, all I could do was continue shaking my head. I couldn't even look at her. If I did, I knew I would really start bawling. Suddenly, someone cracked me on the back.
Oh, Taku.
It was Masumi-kun, with an uncomfortable look on his face. The swap was a lot weaker than usual. You certainly had no issue ignoring me before. Why start paying attention to me now if all of a sudden? I'm sure that you'll regret talking to me. You'll become the DQN's next target, just like me. Yeah, Remy, Masumi-kun, even you. You both be better off not associating with otaku freak like me. I remained silent, but Masumi-kun forced a smile.
暗いな。朝から新規臭いぜ。ま、お前はそういうやつだって分かってるけどな。
As harsh as his words were, I didn't get the feeling that I was joking or acting sarcastic. After all, it was pretty common for him to say stuff like that.
そういう大臣は朝から無駄に爽やかだね。
無駄にとか言うな。久々に学校来たと思ったらいきなりそれか。
じゃあ嘘くさい爽やかさ。
なたく、この言い草どう思うよ。
I nodded ambiguously. The tears had somewhat managed to stop. The usual routine was happening right in front of me. Both of them were completely oblivious to the fact that my sitting in class had taken a steep nosedive.
そういえば、岸本のことを聞いたか。まだ入院中らしいぜ。怪我は大したことなかったんだけど、精神的にかなり参ってるらしい。いいか、タク。女を落とすのに一番手っ取り早いのは、弱ってる時に優しくしてやることだ。というわけで俺、本気で岸本の見舞いに行こうかなと思ってんだよね。
Great advice, Masumi. Very great.
大臣最低。ブーブー。
God, no wonder you were tortured for 1,000 fucking years. God damn it, bad word. Anyways.
今度こそ彼女さんに刺されるよ。
お見舞いに行くだけだろ。別にやましいことじゃねえよ。
You couldn't get stabbed by your girlfriend for this for real this time. And the camera pans over to like a blonde girl in the corner. Exact same hairstyle as Beatrice. I still can't believe I fucking back to back with Daiyusuke's voice acting. Fucking visual novels. Ugh.
ほんの数秒前と言ってることが違うし。
そういえばタクって岸本と知り合いだったよな。な、一緒に行ってくんね。
あ、
I'm trying to look at it like a crack in Remy's like facade here. Because that fucking scene with Shogun, man, I don't trust her now. God damn it. It was a typical subject matter for Masumi-kun. I thought for sure he was going to ask me about my psychic powers, but when he didn't, it caught me completely off guard. But instead of noticing, Masumi-kun went back to what he was saying. And then we fell into our usual routine. Masumi-kun talking and talking, Remy occasionally butting in with a sharp jab, and me just giving vague responses. And the fact that it was no different than usual made me happy. Huh. Whoa. Interesting. Okay, here we go. What is this music? At the top floor of the Zumi Group HQ, within the presidential office, Norusei Genichi stood near a window, lighting a cigarette ablaze. The Zumi Group, an enormous corporate group with abundant subsidiaries, one that conducted business while being accompanied by licensed approval from the nation itself. A number of those subsidiaries had found success in a variety of business fields, from sales of clothing or groceries to managing sales and imports as a trading company. Noruse, who reigned above all as the apex of the group, looked below at the grand view of his castle. His conscious mind, however, was not gazing upon the scenery before him. Repeatedly tapping his foot against the floor in agitation, his lips curled in a sneer.
まったく老人たちの相手は面倒ですよ。そう思いませんか？彼らは臆病すぎる。だからこそここまでのし上がってきたとも言えるのでしょうが。
Don't you agree, huh?
利用するにもこうあれこれと横槍を入れられてはいい加減うんざりしてきますよ。
Who is he talking to?
現実は悲しいかな。300人委員会の影響力というものを侮ることはできません。ただいずれ近いうちにそのシステムも崩壊する。世界の支配構造は組み替えられる。楽しみですか？私もですよ。ここまで随分時間がかかってしまいました。プロジェクトノア、立ち上げからすでに5年余り。
5 years ago, huh? Noruse approached his personal desk. The solid desk of natural oak contained few ornaments of any note, adorned only with items one might find in a typical office setting. At the table's edge, however, a single conspicuous object casually lay. Noruse grasped the green, strangely designed character in his hand. Upon giving it a single disinterested glance, he promptly discarded it in the waste bin. Green character? His narrowed eyes turned to the dim room's interior. The rear of the room where the moonlight could not reach housed the sweetest hint of another person.
まさか君がギガロマニアックスだとは思いもよりませんでした。
All along.
どうやら神すらも私の味方をしてくれているようだ。
What?
君のサンプルを取らせてもらいますよ。何？怯える必要はありません。私は元医師でしてね。インフォームドコンセントはきちんとしなければ気が済まないたちなのです。
A doctor, huh? Maybe that's where they got. Maybe they used the Gigalomaniacs as like a basis for the fury of Noah. They're not exactly using them. They were simply the beginning of it, so they could be able to use electromagnetic lengths and able to construct it. Pretty much, I guess, is what I'm thinking now.
そもそもノア2のハードウェアはすでに完成しています。あと必要なのはソフトウェアの方でしてね。そのために君たちギガロマニアックスのサンプルが多く必要なのです。
Ooh, the soft. That's a great way to put it. They've developed the engine, but they need the oil. So, the Gigalomaniacs.
正確に言うならば NA シナプスに関するコードサンプル。脳の働きに指令を出す役割を果たしている部位の行動サンプルですよ。コードサンプルには個人差があります。持っている能力が高いギガロマニアックスは NA シナプスもより活性化し、脳のより広い範囲にわたって効果を及ぼします。人間の脳は 全体の10分の1しか使われていません。しかしギガロマニアックスは違う。
Able to use 100%, like that movie, Lucy.
残りの10分の9の部位も使っていることが分かっています。ギガロマニアックスの頭の中というのは実に興味深い。そのサンプルがノア2にとっていわば CPU の役割を果たすわけです。サンプルが多ければ多いほどノア2の能力は本物のギガロマニアックスに近づき、やがて超えるでしょう。納得してもらえましたか？結構。
Noruse nodded in satisfaction, exhaling a cloud of smoke as he returned his view to the scenery beyond the window. Upon viewing it up close, the Shibuyan nightscape was the essence of vulgarity itself, leaving Orise solely with feelings of discomfort. His persistent belief in this remote location, however, was that it was more than adequate. Nevertheless, it would not be long before this nightscape would be a sight never to be seen again. The final experiment of his Project Noah would make sure of that.
世界が生まれ変わる日も近い。
What? Wait. Huh? Wait. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Is it Nanami? Is it Nanami? Because why else would he have a fucking Gregor Froggy with him? What the fuck? Okay, folks. So I feel like we just got the reveal of the main villain of this game, Noruse, the head of the Nozumi group, forwarding the Noah 2 project. So yeah, okay. So basically, they're trying to harvest Gigalomaniacs pretty much in order to create like an artificial Gigalomaniac that they're able to control on a much broader scale, is what I'm getting there. In order to, control the world and shit like that, obviously. But goddamn, yeah, we're good. I feel like we're getting close to the end, at least of this first route. So I'm getting more and more curious about the other routes and how like different they're going to be, in the future and like, yeah, I can already see the structure of this game. We go through the first route. It's probably not going to end good. Then we do all the other routes, and then there's like one final route, like the true ending route, let's just say. Once we get all of the information, then we'll something big will happen, pretty much. That's what I think, at least. But there's still a lot of questions. There is still a lot of questions, but we're getting a much clearer picture. It's good that this game is going at this pace. It's giving us answers. It's giving a lot more questions than answers, but it gives us like, the more and more I continue in this, the more and more I'm getting a clearer picture of like, okay, this is what's going on. This is who's behind this. All of this, like how it all connects to each other. So like, that's good. I like that a lot, because you can't just have mystery without no substance. You gotta have substance, either be it like character development or what, or a mix of answers with questions, or a lot of mysteries along with like character development. That's how I view it, and this game's doing a good job of going in the mixing of questions and answers, so far at least. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Tell me something, put it in the comments as well. Check out the Discord server I'm in, or my Twitter. Check description below. And yeah, it's been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!
う